I'm Tammy Pack. 20 years ago, I got bored practicing law and had the crazy idea to move to Fredericksburg, Texas to open a little quilt shop. But Fredericksburg is the B&B capital of the world, so I bought my first guest house. And then a few years later started Absolute Charm B&B Reservations. Now we represent 140 beautiful B&Bs and vacation rentals. Along the way, I met a really creative guy named Wes Pack. He was just too adorable, so I married him. He gave up his own successful career in custom home sales to move here to help me chase my dreams.
And together we started Absolute Charm Real Estate. So now we work with both tourists planning a trip to Fredericksburg, as well as buyers looking to pull up stakes and move to the hill country. You name it, we sell it. But we really focus on bringing buyers and sellers of investment properties together.
This series is here to give you tips on all the fun things to do and places to visit while you're in Fredericksburg. That's whether you're just planning a little weekend visit or hoping to check in for good.
Along the way, we'll introduce you to some of Fredericksburg's most colorful characters and unique attractions. Whether they're in the middle of Main Street or off the beaten path, we'll sniff them out and bring them your way.
Every Wednesday, we'll post a new video showing what's hot and what's happening.
What you got to know about Fredericksburg, Texas. Hi, my name's Wes Pack, and this is my wife, Tammy.
And we own Absolute Charm B&B Reservations.
And Absolute Charm Real Estate.
We're here today at the new location of Magnolia Pearl on Highway 290.
And we're here to meet with the co-owner, John Gray, to find out a little bit more about this new clothing store they have.
Frankly, I think I'm going to meet with Heidi, one of the wonderful sales staff here, who's going to maybe hook me up with some clothes.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk to him about this magnificent building. It's a beautiful structure. Let's go on in.
All right.
Well, John, you've got an amazing store here, and you and Robin have done a fantastic job, both being co-owners of it. You say that she's the creative one, is that correct?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
How did all this come about? How did Magnolia Pearl come about?
Robin grew up in a ridiculously creative family of people that just did art for art's sake. Every day of their life, they embodied art through their life. And some people pick a medium, and sometimes there are a group of people that their life is their medium. And Robin's parents, their beings were creative in how they dressed and lived, and whether they would choose to have a vintage clothing store or whether they chose to be doing a house project or whatever they choose to be doing. It was art in its essence. She had a grandmother that was incredibly interested in antiques and another grandmother that was a seamstress that was special from a child, from a fever, and she could make Western shirts by hands in an evening, and just every aspect of her family tree were remarkably creative people, and she grew up in that realm.
Yes.
And she was never really creative herself because subconsciously she felt that it would detract from her parents. And where parents would make a living doing art, if Robin did the painting or whatever, people would always walk past her parents' art to say, who did this? And then they would say, that was my daughter, and she would wind up selling it because they survived from what they did. And then, Robin, you got to start painting. So then Robin would paint, or
And it's slowly matriculated into what you have here today.
Well, Robin lost her mother.
Oh.
And her father both died young. They were both, they were very extreme people and went through the hippie movement of the 60s and burned the candle at both ends, and neither of them lived long. And when her mother died, Robin was in a funk, and she made a purse. She made a handbag, and we went to the grocery store that week, as we always do, and she was mobbed by people following her around about this handbag, and people were like, how do I get one? How do I buy it? She says, no, my mom died and I made this. And she started thinking about her mom, and who was in hock, or her ashes were in hock because we couldn't afford to pick her up from the crematorium, had the body in hock. We had no money, and people were wanting to buy the handbag. So we said, what the hell? We sold a handbag. So Robin went home next week, said, well, I don't have one. So she built another handbag. Went back to the grocery store at the end of the week to buy groceries again. Same thing happened. Line of people trying to buy the handbag. So by about the fourth weekend, my silly ass decided that we needed to start making handbags, and got a real small loan from a very good friend and started making handbags. And they were a global sensation. People
How
wanted
long
them.
ago was this?
That was her first art project, were Magnolia Pearl handbags. And they took off.
But now, why the name Magnolia
Pearl is because Robin's grandfather was the engineer, one of the engineers responsible for the Magnolia Petroleum building in Dallas. But the name Magnolia just kind of followed Robin. She was born on Magnolia Street in San Antonio, where she moved back to several times in the course of her gypsy family coming and going. And her boyfriend of the time that she loved dearly had a fabulous magnolia tree in his yard, and that's how she located him and found him and where he lives associated with this tree. So the magnolia tree is a occurring theme in Robin's life. And then she had the nickname Pearl from a friend of hers that nicknamed her Pearl as kind of a joke. We have in the neighborhood about 70 stores.
70 stores worldwide?
Yes, all over,
wow.
All over the world.
Here we are in Fredericksburg, middle of Texas, and we've got this global clothing line, unique store right here off of 290. And you guys have only been open for what?
A couple weeks.
Just a couple weeks. Now, I actually got to see, my wife and I got to see the process of this incredible building that you guys built yourself. That in itself is a work of art. How many square feet is this building?
I believe this is just under 6,000.
Under 6, oh, it seems a lot bigger than that, but that's probably because every floor, you have 3 floors here.
Yeah, it gets
the third floor is the
smaller.
office,
Yeah.
right? But 3 floors, all of them are 12 feet or more,
Yeah,
which
I believe,
the ceiling.
I think, well, obviously the top is
Yeah, the
more.
top
I think
is
it's
the
15,
cathedral.
something like that. So I think we got 12, and 15. So what is that? 37, 39.
I guess you might say it's an incredible story from rags to riches, or from being able to express your passion and make a wonderful living off it.
I will
sharing
say
with
this.
others.
This is a very interesting thing in having this conversation. Robin is incredibly creative, but the power and energy associated with this whole thing is generosity. That's the
Good
honest,
karma.
That's the honest generosity.
Yeah.
And Robin, this is a funny thing too. People can look at Robin and say, well, she can afford to be generous. And I can tell you right now, Robin is just as giving, if not more giving, in extreme poverty than when she can buy just about any normal little thing that she wants. We can't go buy a $1 million ranch or anything like that, but
You walk in the door and you really feel very comfortable in here.
it's about giving. That was the spirit that changed everything
Yeah.
in our business.
Hey, I'm here with Heidi Carpenter today, one of the amazing staff at Magnolia Pearl. What an incredible new store this is.
Yes, it is beautiful. We've been open about 10 days, and John and Robin have done a fantastic job with bringing the clothing line up onto this floor that we're on now.
They really have. Of course, this is nothing new to you. You've known their beautiful clothes for years, right?
Yes. I've been friends with them and have a retail partnership with them for about 2 years.
You know, my biggest question would be somebody like me who's never been as creative, artistic, how do you know where to start?
I usually just spend a few minutes with them, and I really believe that when they come into the store and they pick items up, there's an attraction to something that they would like to try on. And then from there, we just start playing dress up.
It seems like you do a lot of layering, right? So
yes,
you can add
lots of layers and
take away. I love the bloomers. This is fun.
Yes, so.
And you do footwear here too. I was surprised
Yes.
about that. I didn't know.
Yes, we have. I think there's five different pairs of boots in the line right now.
Fantastic. So you can really keep a consistent theme, head to toe. Let's
Head
face
to
it, this
toe.
is not your basic clothing
Right.
line, so you need to be pretty specific all around, right?
Right, right.
I love it. So what is your favorite type of attire? I know you can't probably pinpoint one item.
Robin makes some specialty items. Actually, the second dress that you had on was one of her items where she takes a lot of time in building that particular art piece, and so
could tell.
that's one of the. I love being here because when those pieces come out, it's almost like, just it's so precious and awesome.
You know, fashion is such a changing thing. It seems like it never stays the same. How do you know what's in, or how do you know even where to start?
That's the beautiful part of Robin's clothing line, Magnolia Pearl, is that it's timeless. Pieces that she created years ago are actually more valuable today than they were when the date of someone purchased them. So they
That's
are
rare, right?
Yes,
Clothing line?
yes. You can look at pieces that she created, and purses and handbags that she created years ago have actually increased to thousands and thousands of dollars. So
it's amazing.
It's amazing how well the line has holds its value and also holds its timing.
It sounds to me like Robin's more than a clothing designer. She truly is an artist,
She
making
is.
things to last for decades to come.
She is, and the quality of her clothing. We take special care in the way we wash the clothing. We just it goes to the washing machine, but we have a technique where we'll crumble it on the table like a ball and just leave it there to let it dry. So that's when it comes out where you get the wrinkled effect and the more natural.
So wait a minute. This is a good thing. You're telling me if I wear Magnolia Pearl, I don't need to iron.
No ironing and no dryer. So
I like that. So it'll last forever,
It'll
and
last
it's supposed
forever.
to be wrinkled.
That's right.
It's right up my alley.
That's it.
Magnolia Pearl on 290. We're, as you're coming in from Johnson City, we're how far from Fredericksburg?
We're roughly 5 miles
5
east
miles,
of Fredericksburg. We're between 1376 and Gaiman Lane. And if you wish to Google map, it's 461 split rail crossing. So with today's technology,
You can just go right up to the front door.
It's amazing.
And they've got a whole bunch of little things outside, chicken coops in the back of a truck. They got a great dog of yours that roams around, very nice dog. You got to get out here and check this place out. Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you again, John.
I appreciate
Look
you.
forward to seeing you guys around town as well.
Absolutely.
Take care.